Hello everybody, my name is X Factor, and more than likely this is going to be the toughest Easter egg the Battlefield community has seen, thanks to the boys at Dice LA, specifically Julian. We're going to go over everything we know and a couple things we found out last night, and a couple thoughts here. Northeast corner of H. Take a look at the post with the alien with the single lamp here, and that is some Morse code from Julian saying, "Did you miss me?" And good luck, basically. But these lights play a part in the next step. We actually found all 4 buttons last night. I racked my brains on multiple servers, live streamed it for a couple hours. They were located. We're going to cover what they do, but first we got to go over what default state is. Well, we're on H now still, and this is the massive part of the temple. You're going to notice there's a couple lights on. And depending if your server restarts or what happens, because you can only do this on an unranked or private server, different lights are going to be on. There's actually several default states, which complicates this just a little bit more. So the first switch we're going to go over is actually in the furnace on C. You can see it right there, but that doesn't mean you can activate it. So what's the pro tip here? Basically, RPG, Sarah Small, or C4 out the wall behind you. And even then, you're going to still have to be prone to be able to get to the switch. It's going to be some wiggling once you go prone, and you'll see where it says activate. Now, here's the thing about finding these switches. You can't use spectate mode. You can't use a MAV. The only time they pop up, and they're viewable through spectate or a MAV, is if somebody's right on top of them, within like 1 to 2 meters. So yeah, a MAV or spectate could be working with you, but it's going to be a big pain in the butt. So again, go prone here, wiggle around. You'll see where it says activate. And then basically going prone and out of prone to get this thing to pop where it says activate. And then basically spam E during that and you'll get it to go off. The second button is actually south of G in what looks to be a little fishing village. And this is one of the more tougher ones. It took us a while to find this. And check this out. You go prone on the first set. Then you've got to flip it, dip it, and reverse it, and go backwards. This one's pretty cheeky. And then get back on it. You can't access it from the other side or even the top. We tried using C4. So do that same prone method, and you'll be able to get to that. At this point in time, more than likely, your nerves are frazzled. Why not take a dip in the waterfall? And here's the location of the third button. It's not as easy as it looks. This one's actually pretty tough still because you're going to get bonked around a little bit. And if you stay under the water, you're going to be taking damage too. So wait till you see that interact button up and then simply hit it. The last button, and arguably the easiest button because it was found by the community and provided to us when we started our live stream, is on H. We're actually going to the south side of H, going prone right here, and that's it. So it's a lot harder than just pressing all of them at the same time. It goes way, way beyond that. And we're going to show you a couple ideas that I have and several other community members have, including a couple tips potentially by Julian that'll help us all out. The master of the Easter eggs. So here you see a bunch of lights on. I simply set everything once. Now, each switch has 2 settings, and it has to do a default state of the round that you're in. And here's a perfect example of a light map done by Post Broadcast, who's actually in our Easter egg server last night, helping us map this out. This is one of the default states if you look at the top right. You've got 3 lights on in this state. After H is pressed, you can see it changes 2 in the northeast and 1 in the southwest. And then after E is pressed, G and C. But it's much more complex than that. Because here's another one that he did several moments later. As you can see, there's another default state in the top middle. And then, of course, the buttons acting completely different. Is this a Rubik's Cube? Do you have to go through multiple resets to figure out all the different states? Each button does have 2 states. And a lot of times there is some cross-checking of these formulas to make sure this is correct. There is a ton going on with this. Do you have to figure it off on the reset that you've just done? Or are there multiple phases to each reset, basically stacking them together? There is a lot that potentially could be going on. And this is the key to moving on to what could be the toughest and most complex Easter egg the Battlefield community has ever seen. So what clues do we have? Hopefully you're really good when it comes to music, because this is the clue. El Kobani Martin, who was actually helping us earlier, referred to 4 buttons so far. How many do you want us to find? Talking to Julian. Julian responds, I'll listen to a song mentioning a kid and some object in space now before going to bed. Red Gamer Dan says, does that mean it's a flying button? Get to the chopper. Julian responds, only the song will tell you what I mean. Rad Gamer Dan follows up, what's it called? Is it by Daft Punk? Julian says, that's too new and not my style. Going to bed so we can see episode 7 tomorrow. This Easter egg is absolutely going to be crazy. And more than likely to progress, we either need to get lucky with the sequence of just randomly jabbing those buttons, or we need to find another clue or the song which might reference what we need to do with default state and the sequence that needs to be used depending on which default state you have. Happy Easter egg hunting. Hopefully you guys don't pull out your hair and lose your minds. We'll see you guys soon.